Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to Jason is a Social Scientist. Bimouth Daily, pill number 1028. I guess one thing I want to say starting off, I don't really talk about politics a lot, but I think this story is just really horrifying to me. In the Bahamas, a hurricane, Category 5 hurricane, sat on them for 36 hours, and destroyed most of Abaco, the Abaco Island, and Trump is saying about these refugees that they're going to need all the proper paperwork because there's some really bad people, drug dealers. It's like this racist bullshit that he says about immigrants. Like what he does to immigrants too, and the children. It's morally reprehensible. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. Thank you, Carly Jane Finch, Jennifer Nelson Pratt. I find it so morally repugnant. I don't know. They're just like that. Like the stories about the what happens to immigrants too. It's really, really bad. But yeah, how do you say that about people that have nothing, no food, no water, like one of the largest natural disasters certainly that country's ever experienced? It practically ruined the country. And how do you? You need all the proper paperwork. They don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have anything. Oh my God! And there's some really bad people, drug dealers, and whatever. Hello. Let's see. Some of you might be wondering what the show is about. Hi, Michelle. People often wonder what the show is about. The premise is deceptively simple. I take my HIV medication. Yeah, well, that, and every other natural disaster, I don't know, our country, I don't know, is taking pride in helping people. Good day, Sue. Good day. How are things down under? Kia or Clint? How are the Kiwis doing? Dang it, the heck. Where were we at? Good. I'm glad to hear it, Sue. The Kiwis are good too. Nice. All these friends from the Southern Hemisphere. I'm so lucky to know so many people in the Southern Hemisphere. If I ever visit there, I could find friends. I'd have places to stay, maybe even. No, I don't know. I wouldn't crash at your. But I would come visit, maybe. Someday I'm gonna get that bus and drive it to Australia. I'd put my bus on a boat. First I'm gonna drive it out. First to drive to the East Coast, drive down the East Coast, probably maybe into Florida. Might be dangerous though. And then head west. I don't know, across Texas. I don't know, and then up through some of those Nevada and Idaho. I don't know, into the Pacific Northwest. Or maybe up in Canada too. I don't know. We got a lot of places to go. Maybe we'll drive up towards Quebec and then drive down the East Coast of Canada, all the way to Florida, and then across, and then maybe up to Alaska, and then I don't know. Eventually we'll get on a boat and drive through the Panama Canal down to visit you guys. Hey, Migs. I don't know, Migs. The bus is gonna to fund a trip like that, it's gonna it's gonna take a lot of money. And the bus itself, I figured it would cost about $2 million. It's gonna be a nice bus. Right back at you, supporter Will Ferrell. Hey, Seth McBride. Thank you for your support, Will. My sleep schedule's all fucked up. I can't get into a right schedule. I'm supposed to be sleeping right now. Be up during the day and the evening. I just get home from group and I just sleep all day. And then I sleep until the night, till midnight or 1 o'clock. I don't know what time I woke up. Dang it. And then I'm up all night. And I have to be at the group again I guess it's technically a hospital. At 8:30 in the morning. Alright, Sue. No, not a full show. Anytime I'm down here, it's not a full show. When I do a full show, it's always up on top of the cupboards. What's my favorite food or dish, Seth? Oh, I don't know. Ribeye steak is probably my favorite, but I like a lot of other stuff though too. Jeanette's exhausted. Jeanette, supporter in the house too. Thank you for your support. Now I'm gonna go and try to lay down again after the show, and I won't be able to fall asleep until 6:30 in the morning, and I have to be up in an hour. Makes a steak of tofu. I don't know if that'd be any good. I'm a big fan of tofu. I don't know. The only place I've ever had good tofu is at they call it the Cheese Restaurant, but it's spelled with a Z. It's vegan cheese. It wasn't always a vegan restaurant. It used to be a vegetarian restaurant. But anyway, they could do wonderful things with tofu. Hey, Rose. It's when I was in high school, this place, even though it was just, it was a vegetarian restaurant then, it was my favorite restaurant. It's not the Cheesecake Factory, it's the Cheese Factory, and with a Z. And I think it was just spelled like cheese when I was growing up. Anyway, it's just a really cool place. It had a 50s theme. The waitresses would wear poodle skirts, and they had an old-fashioned soda jerk, and serving up old-fashioned drinks like Green River Phosphate. I need A1 sauce, Seth. I need A1 sauce. A Teresa Wilbright. Oh, don't work too hard. Oh, working overnight, eh? That is my shift for a long time. From the age of 18 to 35, I think I work nights. But this place is really interesting though, right? Because it's the restaurant owned and operated by this cult. There is a cult. People give up their worldly possessions, and I had a friend in high school. Her mom left the family and joined this cult, and people come from all over the world. And people in the restaurant have accents, Australian accents. All people, yeah. They say, like I said, it's I heard these stories growing up, but also when I was older, Isthmus had a big article about it too. Isthmus is a newspaper here, a local newspaper in Madison, and it's really interesting how they got this restaurant, because people just commit their whole lives, and part of the reason they have a restaurant is this woman from New York. She owned and operated this amazing 5-star restaurant in New York City, and when she joined the cult, her contribution was this restaurant, and it was really like an amazing restaurant. Hey, Brenda. Right? That's their tofu cult. No, they used to make rattlesnake tofu, or they still do, I'm sure. And when I was really young, they used to have a dish called "I Can't Believe It's Not Meatballs," and it was like the meatballs were like tasted and like real meat. It was my favorite spaghetti. And later on, they changed the dish to like there was a meat sauce. It was just like spaghetti with meat sauce. I don't know, whatever. But and they had a jukebox played with all 50s and I think maybe 60s, but 50s music, and it was a free jukebox. I don't know. I've never tried to make tofu. But speaking about mad scientist restaurant, there's this restaurant in Chicago. I don't know what it's called. I've never been to it, but it's like I heard it's like $500 a plate. But I think I saw it on 60 Minutes quite a lot. I don't know, but like they practice gastronomy. It's like a mixture of science and art. Gastronomic art. Like food art. Sciencey food art. And they like use liquid nitrogen and emulsifiers and I don't know, all these things to make like, I don't know, really like dishes that tantalize the senses and the taste buds, and I don't know, just strange textures, and I don't know. One of the things that looked really good was like these mojito like orbs. I don't know. Mama G knows what I'm talking about. Good. I don't know what it's called. The place is called Athena. I'd like to go there, but I think it's too pricey. It'd be fun to take the family, like Laura and the boys. It'd be like, I don't know if I've heard right. It'd be like $2,000. A clear pumpkin pie. That's funny. I'd want to try everything. Dang it. That's fun, Seth. Well, it should come have dinner at your house. It'd probably be better just to learn how to do that stuff yourself. Be cheaper for sure. Yeah, I think I saw it on 60 Minutes, and that was like 10 years ago or something. Good night, Jeanette. I hope you get some rest. No, the whole blast. Like I say, once I get to 100,000 followers, which I might be dead before then, but once I get to 100,000 followers, I'll start a GoFundMe for the bus. Vitor. Oh, welcome, Vitor. So, you're wondering what the show is about? People often wonder what the show is about. This would make more sense on my regular set, but I'll give you the whole spiel. So, yeah, people often wonder what the show is about. The premise is deceptively simple. I take my HIV medication live on the Book of Face each day in front of friends, family, and strangers. I do so in order to embrace stigma, dispel ignorance, and find support. After 1,028 pills, after 1,028 shows, the number of bells, whistles, and bows have risen up and around and about the show. The bells, bows, and other people, the people that come back night after night, and give me their most valuable resource, their time. To me, that's the most significant thing that's risen up and around and about the show, the community. Like that, Zach? Therein lies the support that I was looking for. But a number of bells, whistles, and bows have risen up and around and about the show. Ding dong bell, boy to she now, hell, heck, this show has it all. I like to say that it is Cloud Atlas and that it incorporates at least 600 years of entertainment, with Edward R. Murrow's radio broadcasts on record and cylinders played on the 19th century, Edison home phonograph, along with a nursery rhyme book from my childhood, containing woodcut illustrations from the 15th century. It is, in a sense, also The Matrix. In a previous iteration of the show, I created something I call the Rainbow Tunnel, in which I harnessed the power of Grayskull and the Eye of Thundera, funneling them through a series of warp nacelles, creating a static warp bubble and a subsequent singularity, punching a hole through the fourth wall, across the multiverse, and into the source. The show now takes place in an echo chamber, created by me, that serves as a way station between our reality and the source. I don't expect lay people to fully understand, as this is advanced social science. Hi, Jessica. Yeah, so the show's also like an old-timey variety show, Carol Burnett style, mixed with a merry melody of Looney Tunes and a measure of Mork and Mindy, a dash of Mr. Ed, and two doses of Alice in Wonderland, a helping of Hee-Haw. You hear the thunder? We had some storms here. A helping of Hee-Haw, heaps of Benny Hill, a hint of the Highlander, tons of the Twilight Zone, a tincture of Teen Wolf, ow, 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 an ounce of Oz, a cup of Creep Show and Cast Away, a quart of Quantum Leap, and a gallon of Gilligan's Island. It's a 4-hour show and a 4-hour tour. Piles of Pee-wee's Playhouse, a pinch of Peter Pan, a pound of Popeye, I am what I am, a whole block of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and a ration of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. Come up to the lab. Hey, James, see what's on the slab. I can see you shiver with anticipation. Touch me. I want to be dirty. Thrill me. Chill me. Fill me. Creature of the night. Hey, Amanda, I'm surviving. Creature of the night, an undone Benjamin Button, a corny ear of Dumbo, a college try of I Spy, a couple raw strokes of Bob Ross, a spoonful of Mary Poppins and the full Monty Python, finally lumping Rick and Morty with a liter of I Love Lucy in the Skyward Diamonds and Wham Bam. Thank you, ma'am. You've got the show. Oh, August of 2015, when I was diagnosed. Everything is out of place, not of time here, including and especially me. April will always be pregnant. Harambe will always be ready for her high fives. The first and the second coming will always be risen, with the Obamas getting blowjobs from the Woodies. The Supermen and their boners will always be spinsters and sempstresses working the sweatshop. The twin towers will always stand with Lady Liberty. You will have their MTV. Pigs will fly. Disco and dance will reign, like men did in the days of old. Hey, Natalie. Hey, Ken. Nice to see you. If I'd have people take only one thing away from this show, it would be the knowledge that HIV is preventable. Oh, I forgot a part, but if you're HIV negative, there's a once-a-day pill you can take. They call it PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis. The pill is Truvada, and if you're HIV negative, you take it once a day, and it works like a highly effective chemical condom. It prevents HIV. Oh, well, that's cool. Thank you for sharing, Vitor. I hope he's handling it well, and and getting treatment. If I'd had, I'd say, but if you're already HIV positive like me, or like Vitor's brother, treatment is prevention. By taking my medication, if he takes his medication every day, makes it so we're not contagious. You equals you. Undetectable equals untransmissible. You could fuck me bareback all day long and never catch HIV from me. It's a brave new world. The future is now. And it's 1969. Free love. Woo. Vitor, I'll show you what the set looks like normally. I don't know. Like that long description makes a little more sense when I'm on my regular set. We usually film from on top of the cupboards up here. I don't know, it's still gonna look weird. You can't get quite the right angle here with a selfie stick. Something like that. Thanks, man. And then you'd have to watch. Come back on Friday or Saturday. I'll show you how it works. I used to do it every day from on top of the cupboards, but that's too much for my wife. She didn't want her kitchen taken up 4 hours a night anymore. Or she want our kitchen taken up, I should say. Construction noises. Construction noises. Advanced social science, indeed. So, I do have to get to bed pretty soon. Superman on a string. I need to play with him more. Counterweight's over here. So I can make him go up and down. You know how it works, Ken. I think. This is my spelling bee trophy. From 1990. My 5th grade spelling bee trophy. Dang it, dag. I don't know, can you see it move over here? Do you see that? I've been in the hospital, Amanda. Like, I was in the hospital for a while, and now I'm doing this partial hospitalization where I have group therapy. Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 2:30, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm just focusing on my mental health. I still take the pill every day, but I still do it live. I still keep my commitment here, but yeah, so I'm just gonna do the abridged premise one more time here. Vitor's like, why didn't I get the abridged premise? So you might be wondering what the show is about. Thank you, Vitor. Thank you. Yeah, I hope it's been. I hope your family accepted Vitor or your brother, and yeah, it was hard for my family to accept. I know that. Hey, Eddie Kindle. We just went through that. I thought you knew what it was about, Eddie. or a top fan. I think you know what it's about. You goofball. Hello. Good night, Natalie. I don't take vitamins. My doctor hasn't recommended them. You know, from what I understand, they're vitamins in general haven't proven very effective but you know, like maybe bone sample, like I don't know, maybe calcium and vitamin D or something. Yeah, that sucks. That was super hard for my family too. My parents were dead already, so my mom would have been okay with it. My dad would have had a hard time. My mom probably would have had a hard time with it too. She would have just been worried for me, probably. What should I do, Matthew? I don't know if I trust advice from you, sir. Maybe. Maybe it depends. Yeah, you know, I spend a lot of time, you know, trying to teach about the stigma, you know, and like how, you know, your brother lived through like 10 years probably of you know, because like the U equals U is a pretty new concept about, you know, people live for years thinking that there might be a chance that they could pass the virus to somebody they cared about. And now that science has proven that's not possible. It's like it's weight that's been lifted, especially for people who've had it a long time. It's like this weight that's been lifted off of them. Like, I didn't have to worry all this time that, you know, as long as people are getting treatment, they can't pass it on. And that goes backwards in time too. Like, you know, and it's like this shadow that lingered over people is like lifted. And you know, even though I spend a lot of time teaching about that, like I'm sure there's plenty of my family don't really understand that concept yet. It's hard for people even with it. It took me a while to really, even though I intellectually knew that about the science, to really integrate it and feel okay about it. It took time even for me, so yeah, like I've definitely been suicidal since I'd had suicidal ideation beforehand. After the death of my parents, that was really hard for me too, and this has just been another thing to grieve. Hey, Jeff. Yeah, I think, and you know what? The virus does a number on not just your immune system. It does a number on your brain too. Like it causes inflammation in the brain. The virus, like, it induces mania. Back in the day before there were effective meds, like AIDS mania was a pretty common thing, like this intractable form of mania. And looking back on it now, there's certainly things that I was experiencing that were organic, like from my brain. Like, I don't know, for a while, like my wife just sent me an article about Clang associations, which is like sometimes associated with psychotic episodes and people with bipolar disorder, which you know, bipolar causes manic episodes, you know, which HIV can cause manic episodes, and like Clang associations are like people like rhyme and like do puns, like another kind of combination of rhymey puns, It's like I couldn't stop thinking in that, from that. Yeah, anyway, and I think that has lightened up over time. There's like an initial assault on the brain, and it takes a while for that inflammation to go down. At least you recognize that, Matthew. Oh, I guess it's been a half an hour. The music stopped. Okay. Well, Vitor, it's nice to meet you. I hope you come back. We do this like every night, unless I'm in the hospital or something. It's been twice I've been in the hospital. It's been almost 3 years now, and I missed like 10 days because of hospital stays, or more like 12 days, something like that, or 13, something. No, I don't think it's that easy. I think there's always going to be emerging viruses, and yeah, it's but they're making progress. Maybe you're right, Matthew. Maybe you're right. All right. So, I'm really going to take this now. If I'd had people take only one thing away from this show, it would be the knowledge that HIV is preventable. If you're HIV negative, there's a once-a-day pill you can take. They call it PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis. The pill is Truvada, and if you're HIV negative, you take it once a day, and it works like a highly effective chemical condom. It prevents HIV. But if you're already HIV positive like me, treatment is prevention. I don't know what I'm doing. Treatment is prevention. By taking my medication every day and maintaining an undetectable viral load, it makes it so I'm not contagious. U equals U. Undetectable equals untransmissible. You could fuck me bareback all day long and never catch HIV from me. It's a brave new world. The future is now. And it's 1969. Free love. Woo. I think it always takes time to. I don't know enough about viruses. I just know people have been working on HIV for a long time. I'd let you play with my hair, James, any day. I want to hear your accent one of these days here too. Is it really thick like that? All I can think of is Train Spotting, right? Since that takes place in Scotland. There's that one character that it's really difficult to understand. The guy that throws the beer bottle over his head, a beer glass over his head, and hits the woman in the below. Yes, you're right. I bet you have a Scottish accent, I imagine, right? I shouldn't assume. Pill number 1028. Down the hatch. We are robot. Listen to that thunder. Good night, Jessica. This one a day. Maybe you have to send me a voice memo, James. Something like that. All right, I love you all. We are robot. Good night, Ken. Good night, everyone. Again, it was nice to meet you, Vitor. All right.